Hi everyone, welcome back to Coffee Books and Rain. I'm Rachel. Sadly, I just finished my coffee while I was recording my other couple of books I needed to get taken care of, and I don't have any rain either. Now it's beautiful outside. It's utterly fantastic, and I want to say it's like a high of like 75, a beautiful sunshine, like puffy clouds. So it's a perfect poolside day. But we're not talking about poolside stuff. We are talking about a murder mystery. And I almost wanted to turn off my lights and just kind of have it like spookier vibes, but I might do that for another one. This one is really fantastic. It's called The Labyrinth House Murders by Yukito Aya- Ayatsuji. Ayatsuji. I hope something along those lines. I hope I didn't butcher it completely. It is translated from Japanese, so that is one of the reasons that when I tell you the date that this was actually written and the date that it was released here in English, maybe it will make a little more sense. This was first published August 30th of 1988. Now, it is being published in English, or it was, and according to this, it was published October 10th of 2024. However, on NetGalley, now, I did not have an audiobook, so I do not believe it's the audiobook being released, but I have it as being due from NetGalley as the date of publication of May 13th of 2025. The question is it available now? I'm not sure. But I do plan to release this episode on May 13th, so hopefully by the time you hear this, you can find it at your bookstores and go get it. But I do want to talk about one thing real quick, and it was part of something that was mentioned in the book, but it is a Honkaku mystery, and it's a Japanese subgenre of detective fiction that emphasizes fair play, logical deduction, and puzzle solving. My goodness. Often featuring locked room mysteries. It is inspired by the golden age of detective fiction in the West, with authors like Agatha Christie, John Dixon Carr, and Ellery Queen serving as influences. Honkaku mysteries are known for their intricate plots, detailed descriptions of characters and locations, and clues that are all available to the reader, allowing them to try and solve the mystery alongside the detective. So, I wanted to put that in there because it is actually mentioned within the book. Now, I don't think they went into that elaborate of a description, which I had just made a couple of notes, and so there you go. It talked about Queens of Crime. One of them was Nio Marsh. Ellery Queen was a duo of two. It looks like two individuals, Frederick Dene and Manfred Bennington Lee. And that is considered the golden age of detective fiction, which I completely understand if Agatha Christie is in that realm, because she is certainly, or was certainly, a master of her craft. But I also consider that this particular writer, Yukito Ayatsuji, I'm going to try to say it better, did a really, really good job. I have not read the others that they have written. However, this one seems to be the third translated. It is considered a series of 4 of bizarre house mysteries, and this one is technically the 4th mystery. However, it seems to be the third translated. I don't think it really affects reading the particular story. One of the things I do think that we will get into is the sleuth that investigates this particular mystery is the same sleuth that investigates the others. And very much in the same vein as Hercule Poirot, doing all of his various problem solving, crime solving as well. So let's go ahead and dive straight into this summary now that I've kind of done the little spiel and the background on some of that. The famed mystery writer Miyagaki Yotaro lives a life of seclusion in the remote Labyrinth house. When Yotaro invites 4 young crime authors to his home for a birthday, they are honored to accept. But no sooner have they arrived than they are confronted with a shocking death. They are lured into a bizarre, deadly competition. As the twisted contest gathers pace, murder follows murder. The ingenious sleuth, Kiyoshi, investigates, but can he solve the mystery of the house before all those trapped in its labyrinth are dead? And can you guess the solution before he does? I'm going to say I did not guess the solution. I was, in fact, completely enthralled. Thought I had it, then I didn't. Then I thought I had it, and then I didn't. There are some phenomenal twists and turns. I had such a good time trying to figure this out. Now, one of the other things I had in part of my ebook was they did have a layout of what this house looked like, kind of a floor plan, a schematic of the floor plan. And if I can find that maybe on my phone, maybe I'll put it over here because the cover will be over here. So maybe I'll put it somewhere over here to just kind of represent what what the layout of the house looked like, because it was fascinating. And no wonder it was called a labyrinth house. One of the other reasons it's called a labyrinth house is because it is themed on Greek mythology. And one of the things in Greek mythology is, of course, the labyrinth with a minotaur at its center. So you've got a lot of other names as well. I think like Medea, there's Ariadne, I'd have to go back and look, but each of the rooms is named after some Greek mythological figure. Or, I mean, I don't know if all these people really lived, but goodness, sorry, I had a little burp. But I don't know if all these people really lived, but at least they're mentioned in Greek mythology, so whether they're truly part of Greek history or not, I'm not 100% certain. So we have four crime writers, and they're young and up and coming, and they're trying to kind of maybe be his apprentice or, the next to take up his mantle if he retires. And there is a critic there, Samijima. I truly apologize. I write these words down, and in my head I can say them, and I don't say them very well out loud. Then we have the critic, the editor, the wife of the editor. There's a secretary, a maid, and then we have Shimada. Shimada is, of course, the investigator. He is the aficionado of mysteries, and he's been part of the other books as well. I, again, could not figure this out by the end of it. I would think I was pulled so many different ways that I did not see the ending coming, and I loved it. I did. I loved it. I loved not being able to figure it out. That's okay. A puzzle that can stump me like that or keep me guessing till the very end is great. Now, if you hand me an actual escape room or something, I'll do pretty good. I have done an escape room with my mom and my mom's boyfriend and a really good friend of mine, and it was kind of a complex one, but it was so good and we had so much fun. But yeah, we had a great time. And have a couple that are kind of escape rooms in a box. So I really like figuring those sorts of things out. But anyway, all of these people come to the Labyrinth house, and they are intended to spend at least a couple days for this particular birthday celebration for Miyagaki. And Miyagaki is elderly, and he's turning I don't know if he was turning 80 or 60 or something, but he's when I say elderly and then I say 60, it's hard to kind of put that as being old, because my mom is in her 60s, but she doesn't look it, so it's hard for me to realize that she's getting older. But Miyagaki, by the time everyone arrives for the party, Ino, the secretary, who is pretty much like the personal assistant to Miyagaki, has terrible news. He has terrible news for the group. Miyagaki has committed suicide this particular morning, leaving a cassette tape recording for them to listen to. Now, Ino does take them into the room where the body is still abed, and Ino lets them listen to this tape. And it's Miyazaki telling them the reason why he has done what he's done, and laying out a challenge for the 4 young writers. He says that whoever can write the best story over the next couple of days, and he gives outlines of what this story needs to contain and what it needs to be about, he will pretty much bequeath his entire estate to them. Well, of course, they're like, well, okay, we're going to do it. He gives them each word processors because they should not have access to like phones or computers. And it is 88. Like when it was originally written, it was written in 88. So, of course, probably not the greatest technology anyway. But that now kind of the plans are laid. The critics are some people want to, of course, go get the police. They want to call the police, but that's kind of one of the issues is people are not allowed to leave. They, the only person allowed to leave, if I remember correctly, is Ino, the secretary, who is the only one given permission. So he's like, well, if you guys will give me your list of what you want from the grocery store, or if you need me to pick you up some stuff, then I'll run out in the morning and I'll go get it for you guys. But everybody else has to stay here, or the competition is going to be null and void. So there, of course, these 4 individuals who are trying to compete for this prize are absolutely adamant that no one should leave because they want to be able to be eligible to win the prize. And the other individuals, especially the critic and the editor are there and were invited because Miyazaki wanted them to be the judges, wanted them to make the decision of which of these writers was going to be the one to win. The maid is there, the secretary's there, and it's kind of funny that Shimada's there because he's not really part of this competition. He's almost kind of a bystander that was just invited because. So that is kind of the biggest question of why was Shimada invited? What is there to investigate? So as time progresses, we do start having bodies. People start not making it to the next day or to the next morning or down to breakfast. Now, interesting thing about this house too is it seems to be underground. So there's no direct access to like sunlight or out of a window or anything. There's like one way in and one way out from what I can tell from the description. And so whoever is doing the crimes has to be someone in the house. It is truly a locked house murder mystery. We're not in a single room. We've got quite a few rooms, in fact. But we do have a limited number of characters who could have done it. And now everybody is they're kind of nervous about everybody, but they're also, like, they hate to blame anybody because no one really seems guilty. It's a little surprising. And that's really some of the biggest kind of questions with regards to the mystery is how can these people be dying very violently when it doesn't seem like anybody is actually like committing these crimes? Nobody is really acting in suspicious manners. Nobody really seems to have the injuries that should possibly be on their own body because there's at least one crime scene where some possible blood is spilled, but nobody seems to have any additional cuts on their person to like say that it might be them. It's very interesting. One murder does seem to be a truly locked room, and seems to be locked from the inside, so questions on how that could have happened. And yeah, very, very cool premise. I was kept guessing till the very end. Now, one other person, I just want to make this note, on Goodreads did say that, and let me just find it real quick. I think it was Yvonne Rovira. She said that he also wrote the Decagon House murders. And this kind of felt like it might be fairly, I don't want to say copy pasted, but it's kind of a near retread of the same sort of story. I would still read it, especially if I was, I still want to know who done it. But the Decagon House is part of this particular mystery series as well. This particular critic, or this particular reviewer, also said it's a really good nod or homage to And Then There Were None, which I completely can see for sure. It's kind of hard to be like, oh man, nobody's left, but okay, some people are left. Let's just say it. Some people are left in the end. I guess you'll have to find out who it is. But I think I'm going to leave it there because I really don't want to get into any spoilers. It is twisty and turny and a little bit gruesome. Not so much body horror wise, but it is really good, spooky kind of vibes. At one point, I thought, is it a ghost? Is this place haunted? Like, what's going on? But I'm going to let you guys figure it out if y'all want to go out and read it and find it. I think, according to Goodreads, or NetGalley, like I said, NetGalley says it comes out May 13th of 2025. I guess we'll see. But I do want to thank you all so much for tuning in. If you have not liked and subscribed already, I certainly hope you will. And with all of that being said, thank you for joining me on this journey. I will see you all on the next page. Have a great one. Bye.